Okay, so let's find the standard deviation for these numbers. If you have your calculators, you should be able to do this in your calculators by now. Everybody has a different calculator, so I'm not even going to show it with the calculator. I will show with the formula. The standard deviation, S, equals the square root, the shortcut formula, of the sum of the x squareds, sum of the squares of the values, minus n times the mean, x bar squared, divided by n minus 1. And if we use this formula, we should be able to find the standard deviation pretty simply. So first, I'll rewrite this data in columns here, x values. So I usually like to have the values in numerical order, so I think I'll do that just to make it a little simpler for myself. So I've got 25. Let's put 40 next. Let's do 48 next. Let's do 52 next. Let's do 64 next. Then 65, 67. Then 72, 78. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 values. 3, 6, 9 values. Okay. First thing I want to do is square each of these values and then find that sum. So let's square each of these values and find that sum. 25 squared, that's 625. 40 squared, that's 1600. 48 squared, that's 2304. Just multiply the number by itself. 52 squared, 2704. 64 squared, that's 4096. 65 squared, 4225. 67 squared, 4489. No, I'm not doing these in my head. I'm using a calculator here. 72 squared is 5184. And 78 squared is 6084. Now I need to sum all of these values. So the sum of all of this, I'm going to calculate this here. 625 plus 1600 plus 2304 plus 2704 plus 4096 plus 4225 plus 4489 plus 5184 plus 6084 equals 31,311. So in my formula here, the sum of the x squareds is 31,311 minus the number of values. We counted those earlier. We have 9 of those. Times the mean squared. Now the mean of all these values, add them all up and divide by 9. So let's get the sum of these values. Erase the symbol here. So the sum of these values, let's see what that is. 25 plus 40 plus 48. And this is if you don't have an approach for doing this in your calculator quickly. I'm using this approach here. So the sum of these values is 511. And if I divide by 9, I get 56.7777777778. So let's say 56.77. Let's go 3 decimal places. Oh, and let me not forget to square that. And then we're dividing by n minus 1, 9 values, minus 1. That'll be 8 there, we know that. Okay. So now, 31,311 minus 9 times, let's square that mean, 56.778 squared That's 3223.741. A lot of calculation here, right? 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay. Continuing, 31,311 minus 9 times 3223.741. It's 29,013 669 thousandths divided by 8. So I'll come around here a little bit more. So 31,311 minus 29,013 and 669 thousandths. That's 2297.331. We'll divide that by 8. That's 287.166. Take the square root. 287.166. And we get 16.9, which looks pretty good for our standard deviation. So our standard deviation, S, is 16.9.